Oh, hello and welcome. Hope everybody's doing fabulous today. So, my hair is getting long. I have plans for it. I do have plans. There we go. Whew. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this big blue, beautiful planet that we are on your beautiful Earth walk. Enjoying the pleasures of your day, embracing that day, this day, a day that's never been lived before because it is unique and special because it's a new day. So, what's going on? What's going on, people? Well, I know we have the moon is in Aquarius, so it's causing a little bit of shenanigans in there. So, we have a lot of energy in Aquarius, which we're going to be experienced like this is something to, I guess, get used to because we're going to, especially with Pluto being in there now, this is going to be a real shakeup. So, there's going to be a lot of shakeups with this new energy um, with Aquarius. And the other thing, the other part too, and I was in one of my because I'm constantly taking astrology classes to learn shit. Um one of the things that they said is to get used to, because we're coming to the end of the Pisces age because we've been on the cusp and now we're going into the age of Aquarius. I know you hear it all, age of Aquarius. But then you have to think of who is the ruler of Aquarius, right? Who is that ruler of Aquarius? And from Aquarius is Capricorn. So instead of from Pisces to Aquarius, we're going from Aquarius to like um Capricorn energy, and that's Saturn. So Saturn is the joint ruler of both of well, not the joint, but he rules both of them. He is the co-ruler of Aquarius with Uranus. So we're coming into this energy that is very Uranian, which means it is very of the higher realms. It's very unexpected. It is an energy that things can switch on us very dramatically in an instant with Uranus. Yet with Saturn, it is the I'm going to call him the mad scientist when he's in there. And but he wants structure and he wants order and he wants things done a certain way, and he has his rings, and everything has to be presented in a very beautiful and um wondrous way in many circumstances as we are connecting with one another. So it's not only humanity, humanitarian, but it is also that other structure that comes in with it. Now, eras, each era, like the era of Pisces and the era of Taurus, and even before Taurus, Gemini, we have to look at that as it's 2000 years or plus, right? So we're looking at a timeline of over 2000 years. We're this little snippet of time in creating this new era. So if you think about let's go back 2000 years, just over 2000 years ago. We, in that entry of the age of Pisces was the age of new religions. These religions were coming in. So we had, a religion from Judaism, which was around, for 2000 years before that, even 3000 years before that, because Abraham was Abram, right? Just go with me. Abram, when you go back to biblical times, Abram was he wasn't Abraham yet. He didn't become Abraham till he really started to embrace the Judaism way, or um the ways of Judaism and the Torah and the presenting of the Torah, and then he became Abraham. So we have these ages, these times of change, and what they were creating, what was the newness that they were creating. And here we have Pluto to begin it all, like Pluto. And who does Pluto rule? Scorpio. So it all has to do with banking structures and corporations and joint finances, and how they look, right? And how they are structured. And Uranus is coming in and is saying we got to look at things in a new way. How do we look at our collective financial institutions? How do we look at our collective corporations, and what are those corporations, right? So it's not so much a individual way, but a more of a community corporate way of looking, because corporations have been around for a long time. Now, corporations do have a bad flack, right? And how we look at corporations, and but as if you became a corporation, when you become a corporation, you got a business and you become incorporated, and you start to utilize that money in a different way, then you start looking at, wow, as a corporation, I'm able to do more for humanity. We're going in the spiritual side. We're taking this on a spiritual journey here, and not in so much of a greed way. I'm doing this as a spiritual network. I'm doing this as a spiritual connection with others. So I'm taking what I am doing, forming this cooperation, this co-op, and creating something new out of it, and a new collective with it. And when that was explained to me, I was just like, it just, these just popped off in my head, and it's just like, oh my God, that made so much sense. And I have to explain it out loud. Could I write it down? It's going to take me a little bit of methodical writing to write that down methodically, but I can, I'm, figuring it out in my little brain. And as I am looking at the Aquarius energy and the connection with Aquarius, is having that collective connection with it. And for the next 20 years, there's a little blimp that he does go back, Pluto does go back into Capricorn, but in that next 20 years, we are going to be learning how to cooperatively begin to work as a collective in a um corporate way, and looking at what a corporate is and what corporations are, because you're going to find that the powers that be, or the energies that are coming in, yes, there is a coming in jointly and looking at people more in a spiritualistic way. What is your bank account look like spiritually? Like, what are you doing spiritually for yourself and for those around you? Are you attuning to the gifts that you have? Are you attuning to that of stepping out of the mundane, the muggle world? Are you stepping out of the mundane muggle world? Or are you paying into the mundane muggle world? And that's a hard one, because we saw it during 2019, and then 2020, 21, 22, 23. We saw what manipulations had there, and how the fear came up in people that did not want to move away from that, did not want to move from that structure, right? Because of what we have been told or what we've been taught. Corporations are bad. This is bad. This is bad. Well, if something's bad, then there's got to be an opposite of it being good, right? So, because it's a balance, and we live in a duality world. So, if there's one aspect, there has to be another aspect to it, right? So it's all this way. There's another side to it. And what is that other side? It's a side that many people, you, I, maybe some of you have already been taught this, but there's another part that we haven't been able to explore or look at. And this is coming into where, and this is why there's an economic collapse that's coming. This is why there is so much greed that is out there, because it hasn't been taught for you and I to understand what it means to come in together as a corporation. And being a corporation, then all of a sudden, because London is a corporation, United States is a corporation. When we come into understanding, then we're on the same playing field. That means we're coming in with this newness, this new idea, this new energy, and we're coming in with it in a new mindset. And that's part of this evolutionary change that we're going through, and coming into that understanding of what it is. If we are still within our personal, now think about this, personal, it's mine, it's just mine, and it's not the corporate or corporation energy, and looking into how we can devise that, and what that looks like, and what does that mean to do that. And stepping into that. And so it really got me to think on how the structures of the world is. Now that's the muggle kind of world. Now within that muggle world, within this new structure that's coming in, is this spiritual alignment. I saw today where the Pope couldn't even get into his Pope mobile. And because he has a cracked knee cap. That's just an owie, just saying. That's just an owie, just saying, because my knees have always been fucked and the things I've done. But he's been rushed to hospital. He is sick. So we're seeing this old oligarch, I'm going to call it, dying. We have it with the president of the United States, and his co-runner of the president for presidency is not exactly a young spring chicken. Here I am, he's an old man, right? Good morning, Charlene. He's an old man, right? So we're seeing this oligarch, we're seeing the old regimes dying. I mean, even the king did not start off as, he didn't get his kingship as a young man. He got it as an older. He's an elderly man. He's in his 70s. I hate to say that because I'm not that far away from it. But it is that changing of the guards, which is coming in, which is also a changing of the spiritual energy and the spiritual essence of each of us. And are we stepping into that spiritual bank and stepping out of that muggle world? Now, many of you are going to say, well, I've, always, worked at this industry and I work at that industry. It's even like, I think when I look at doctors, I mean, yeah, doctors is a great profession, but there is a system that they have to work in, and they have to work within this system. They can't just go and work outside of that system. They have to work within this institution and how this institution is supposed to be run. Same with teachers. They have to work within this institution. When you start breaking out of the norms, when you start breaking out and saying, no, this is what I'm going to start doing. I mean, I remember the days when doctors made home visits. I remember the doctor coming to go to look at my grandmother, and she was sick, and he came in to take a look at her, and I just remember just sort of sitting by her because she was my teacher and my grandma, and I was the only one allowed to call her grandma. And so it was like, oh my god, the doctor's coming in. He came in with a black bag, and he took out a stethoscope, taking a look at her blood pressure and stuff like that. And then they had a little argument because she had to give up salt. My grandmother died at 95 and she never gave up salt. She's like, oh, what does he know? I'm not giving up salt. And we would take the salt away from her and she'd get very angry. And she wasn't exactly a woman to fight with. She, I want my salt. Give me my salt. So she got her salt. And I think by the time you're in your 80s and 90s, it's like, okay, we're going to give you your salt. You want your wine? Here's your wine. She had her tonic. Her tonic was a blackberry liqueur, I think it was, that we could buy at the drugstore at 15% alcohol. Just sat there at the bottom shelf, would go in there. I'd buy it for her. Go into the local drugstore, and it was called tonic. For whatever ails you, your tonic ailment or whatever. Anyways, but that old, when I going back to the doctors coming in, but stepping out, now, like, for a doctor to come to your house and come and visit you is just like, oh my god, that's just kind of like a taboo thing. Even for women, are slowly starting to be able to have children at home when it is medically good, medically okay for them, right? So, hey, Peppy Lou, hey, Lexi. So many times, having home births aren't always a good thing, but they're also a good thing. So, but I mean, those changes of how we do things, how we treat the sick, treating them more with respect and love. I mean, that's a whole new way of looking at it, instead of as a number, get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out, how many surgeries, how many this, how many that, boom, 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 boom. So that energy is beginning to change, and it's causing, disruption, and it's causing, disruptions in so many ways. I had a midwife labor support. It was yes, if you can. I was actually studying to be a midwife way back 30 plus years ago. I had to order the books from the United States because you could not get midwifery books in Alberta at that time because it was illegal. It was illegal. And then I was told that, if I continue, I could be charged with studying it. It was really weird. So I was just like a young mom. I was like, oh my God. So I was a doula for a while until I witnessed a couple, anyway, stillbirths. Um, but anyways, that's a whole another topic there going off. But this energy that's coming in is looking at how we are dealing with our emotional selves. And my hair just keeps coming into my mouth and it's just getting all over the place. And this emotional energy, and especially with all the Aquarius energy coming in, it is filled with anxiety. It is filled with a disassociation. And when we have, and especially with, a conjunction of Neptune and Mercury coming in, it's like, I want to get the information. I want to hear things now. And then here's the Aquarius energy. I got to have things in order and it's got to be structured in this way. If anybody knows an Aquarius, love you all. Every one of my children have Aquarius in them in some format, but it is about structure. It's about order. It's about trying to create and make and do, right, and connect in amazing ways. But you'll find yourself that maybe you're drifting off if you're not engaged, and it's very important to be engaged. It's very important to be connected. It is very important to become into that corporate energy. And it's, and I did mention this, I don't know how long ago, a long time ago, about even farmers looking at to become incorporated. Like when I hear about farmers, I don't know about their finances and how they do this. It's like, are things paid from a personal account? If they are, I would say no, get yourself a corporate account. And yes, this is going to cost you more. Yes, but this is going to save your ass because they're not going after the corporations. They're going after the individuals. They're going after the ones who are using the personal. The personal. If you are able to move things into that structure, you are going to be beneficial in the end. It's going to benefit you. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just going by the astrology. Okay. That's what I'm basing this on. I'm basing it on the astrology and the movement of the astrology and how it's going. That's why when Pluto goes back into Capricorn later this fall in September, you are going to see things go crazy when it comes to the corporate world. You're going to see things go crazy when it comes to the banking world. Because remember, he rules Scorpio, and Scorpio rules banking, taxes, and all of that, so and joint financing. So we're going to see a lot of personal accounts be eliminated or be frozen or go to zero, but you're not going to see it when it comes to certain corporations and how they work. Just saying. I know Lexi's an accountant, and maybe maybe I'm wrong in all of this, or it doesn't make sense to some people, but this is part of the educational change that is coming in. And I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, there's I got to learn AI and I got to learn this. And I'm like, yeah, but you could go on Open AI and find out about corporations. I live in Canada, blah, blah, blah. I live in New Zealand, blah, blah, blah. How do I form a corporation? What does that look like? How do I get a website? Oh, I'm just a bookkeeper. You're just a bookkeeper. Doesn't bookkeeper, but you still know about the facts and the figures and seeing things and how things kind of work. Accountants are way smarter than yes, you find an accountant, they just love if you find a good accountant, they love their numbers. But this is part of this energy, this drifting that's coming in. We are building up to a new moon, and this new moon is on Sunday, I believe. I have to you guys will be getting your new moon readings on Sunday. And if you are wanting to purchase a new moon reading, definitely get a hold of me and we will make sure that you are on the list for a new moon reading. It's just been a lot going on right now. But this is like, it's not to get fooled and think it's the worst. Like, that's the whole thing. It's like not to think it's the worst. There's a lot of energy too that's coming in. And I was listening to David Palmer talk about this, and it's about omens and omens coming in, good and bad. And I didn't realize tonight is the State of the Union address. Now, whether you're American or not, it doesn't matter. Whatever's happening in that State of the Union address is going to affect the world. So there's something that's going to be coming up, or some kind of message or underlying message that's coming in. And I thought it was like later on, but now I'm looking at, okay, that's why things feel weird and things feel disassociated, and that we really have to learn to surrender to the divine, surrender and trust that you will figure it out. Trust in that, in yourself, that okay, I got to figure this out. I got to figure out what I am doing. For years I have not been incorporated. Ran away from that, and one, because I didn't understand it, and two, I thought I was giving a finger up to the man, thinking like, haha, I'm going to go under the radar. But now when I look back, I'm just like, oh my gosh, how crazy was that? This was a something that, yeah, I should have done. I should have taken that action, the shoulda, coulda, woulda. But now I'm understanding about it more, so that I'm like, okay, there's some things that I need to really look into for my own self and my own well-being, and my financial, whatever it looks like, um is. So this is there's, because there's a lot of Aquarius, and where we just don't want to go down some crazy rabbit holes with this. There are solutions. That's why we want to take things, a little bit at a time, and then come back and surrender and see, okay, is this the way I need to go? I have to have faith that I'm moving into the right direction. And as we are moving into the right direction, as we are going forward with this all, it's like we will be able to decode this, because there is a lot of decoding that's coming in that we are going to have to decode, especially with this address. So there's a lot that's coming in here with this, whether it's to do with, is he an AI bot? People are going to say yes, he is. Is it going to be him? Is he going to fall off the stage? Is there going to be a bombing? Is there going to be whatever? Who knows? Because a lot's hitting his chart, and he's 12th house Scorpio. So there's a lot, you know, and being a fixed sign, there's a lot happening. I'm looking for new opportunities. I'm newly unemployed and ready for the new. Awesome. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. It's like looking at, and and that's, we're going back to when everybody was pressured to do something, to follow it this way, because you're so afraid that I am not going to receive what I think I'm going to receive. We have more at our fingertips than ever before. Everybody here has, you're watching me on something, you're watching me on a computer, you're watching me on an iPhone, a smartphone, whatever. You have more there at your fingertips to create something than ever before. And in understanding that, you're able to make and create what it is that you want to make and create. Maybe it's like, oh well, I'm gonna pick on Lexi because Lexi hasn't been here for a while. So I'll pick on Lexi. Let's say because Lexi just lost her job. She's newly unemployed. She's ready for the world. Here I am. I know. And what is your specialty? What do you know? What are the things? What is the information you have? And you might think it's trivial. There's a woman on TikTok, and I've followed her, and she's friends with another woman on TikTok too, and they're and sometimes they have little battles together. It's quite hilarious. But anyways, she made a whole thing with her TikToks on How to fold sheets. Do you know how to fold a fitted sheet? I do, because I had a Victorian raised father who taught me, and plus I stayed and I worked in a well, in a convent for over a year. So trust me, you learn how to fold fitted sheets, but not a lot of people do. She was doing on how to do your laundry. Do you know how to do your laundry? Do you know how to clean your dishwasher and take it apart? She was making TikToks out of that. Now she's getting sponsored. She gets sponsored by Tide and Downy and all of these products. And these were things that she was using before, but she really loved them. She even made, because she loves she loves her laundry to smell nice. So you know the little scent balls? I know they're bad for you, whatever. I understand, people, but they smell so fucking good when you get your laundry and let things stay fresh. Anyways, she's made a little dispenser, right? She's done home improvements where with her partner have done beautiful home improvements because they bought this place that was kind of dilapidated because that's all they could afford, and for her kids and stuff. And she redid their bedrooms and redid the bathrooms and learned how to do it, and filmed it and showed people like, yeah, okay, I don't know how to do this. Let's go YouTube it. Let's go look at this. Let's go down to Home Hardware. And she's made a whole career out of it. But she just put it out there. Now the thing is, Canadians do not make money off TikTok. Just an FYI. We're not like in England. Somebody else I follow makes a ton of money off of TikTok and off of Instagram and doing different promos and stuff like that. Canada, no, we get fucked over when it comes to that. I had a neurotic bio mother that taught me that. Yeah, so, but these are the things. It's like looking at the things. What are you good at? Like, what are the things, and to optimize them. And that's, another, where he was in his 50s and he had a beautiful voice. He could sing, do the guitar, loved it, got, it all together, and he made his first record and got it out on Spotify and Apple and some other places. Anyways, he got it out there, but then it kind of like he was there. You don't know how far he could have taken it. It was like, no, my girlfriend doesn't, I don't think she likes me when I'm out so late and it's that frequency. It's moving you up to that frequency. What is Aquarius? Frequencies. It's getting you to move into a new frequency. It's getting you to move in a new way of doing things. And when you're at that sort of pivotal point, many times you'll back down and you'll go off and you'll go do something else, and you say, oh, I can't make a living at this. I can't do this. But you're at that point. Today, I went this morning and I said, fuck it. I'm booking all of these markets. I booked markets. So I'm booked with Pagan Spirit markets uh, for what's coming up. The only one I'm not doing is that they have a beautiful retreat. I don't camp. So just saying, I don't camp. I am not sleeping in a tent. I don't sleep in a trailer. Give me a cabin that I can go into with a bed, with a fireplace or some heat and indoor plumbing. I'm there. I'm there with you, baby. But I am not going in a trailer. I'm not going in a camper. And because one thing, it freaks me out that I have a thing about toilets, okay? And I like a toilet that flushes. So, anyways, that's the only one I'm not doing. But that's the thing. It's like, this is what I did. And there's another one that's coming up, and it's I'm doing the Manville one. So I've sent everything out to Vicky. So I'm doing the one for Manville, sent everything out to Andrea. There's a women's one that's coming up that I'm going to send out today as well. There's all of these things, and stepping into that and saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get out there and get seen. And I have to figure out too now, it's like I have about a month, 2 months to figure out for the Christmas one, what am I going to what am I going to offer for that besides readings? Because it's a Christmas one, so you want to have little Christmas things for that. So my little mind's going on that. But going back to Lexi, make a list. You're a lovely little Gemini. Make a list and start to look at what are the things that I really love to do. Maybe you know about puppy care. Maybe you know about how to keep, oh my goodness, how to keep daily financial affairs like a housekeeper back in the day. So, because I watched Downton Abbey, the back in the day, it was the housekeeper that kept a ledger of all what the household spends. And everybody needs to understand their budget or their limit, because credit card debt is out of fucking control right now. Interest rates are just going to be going up, and people are going to a lot of people, like in BC right now, Equifax came out on a whole thing on what's going on in across the country, across Canada, where a lot of people are missing their mortgage payments, and especially in BC, because of the cost of living, that all of a sudden their mortgage went from, say, $1,000 a month, and now they're paying another $600 a month because interest rates and things that have changed there. So that's the thing, is like, there's, I'm thinking, you could be the modern day housekeeper, and we got like a little 1950s cartoonish looking, and putting your face and everything on there, like a whole um logo and everything going on here. And here you are, you're the modern day budget keeper, the expert. Come to the expert. Pepe Lou knows. Pepe, go to Pepe Lou. She knows. She knows the ins and outs of how to keep the household running. And it sounds like, and you might look around, you might say, no, I don't. Have you seen my house? My house looks like shit, or this looks like that. I can't do that. We will have our ego come in to stop us from whatever it is. It will say, oh no, I can't do that. And it could be that you just do a quick little note, or you just start filming yourself. You get your phone. Da-da, da-da, da-da. Made Charlene go a little bit dizzy there. You got your phone, record yourself. You don't like the recording? Fucking trash it. You got open AI and different parts of AI that can actually build and conform your whole freaking website. Bingo bango. You've been let go of your job. Well, did you file for EI? Let me utilize that, because I paid into the fucking thing, and let me utilize it before the fucking government takes it away. It's some capacity. And I'm going to create something here. And I'm going to put my makeup on. I'm going to do this or going to do that. But this is where we start to step into it. And sometimes you got to make it, it's going to be horrific. It's going to be all muddled up, and it's not going to look pretty at first, but that's how you learn, and you start to make it pretty. You put it out on TikTok. You don't need to be live. I just like being live because my brain works that way. If I do it pre-recorded, I'm just like blah 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 blah. No, I love being live, right? So I did 12 takes to do my video on rehydrating my guacamole. Yeah, I thought it would never get any views, but yes, Lisa, definitely. Lisa has fabulous ideas, and I'm every time I see her doing a video out there, it's fabulous. I think you just did something on talent and using talent. So yeah, and putting it out there, and learn how to do little clips. There's Opus clips that will break your video down and do a put your speech up there on their text up there, and you could put it up on TikTok and just put it out there on TikTok, and do little short clips on your YouTube, right? And then put it out there. And it's those little things that you're putting out there. And you might say, I was like, oh, well, nobody will watch it, whatever. You get 2 views, celebrate. You get 5 views, celebrate, whatever. You get 1,000 views, open the bottle of wine. That's the thing. That's where the energy is. The energy's showing you, and then there's that resistance of the energy too. Remember, you have the energy that wants to make you try and do new things and connection and all of that. Then you have the other that'll come in saying, "Oh, I can't do that. That's too hard. I need to I don't want to do anything with anybody." Nah, nah. Dictation is amazing. Yes. And release. Release it. We have Google. Google might not always be right, but there's, whatever else you want to use. But you have at your fingertips right now so much that you've never had before. You don't have to wait for the perfect telephone. You don't have to wait for the perfect camera, right? Learn, there's different YouTubes you can watch for free on how to use your iPhone and how to do photography, how to do your marketing and get your marketing out there, right? And promoting it. And I know many of you are saying, "Oh, that's so tiring. That's so that." What the fuck, people? I do the same thing. Why it's so tiring? I'm just like, okay, but then I'm gonna sit there and bitch that nobody came in, and booked an appointment with me. Well, get your fucking ass off the couch and start doing something, because it's there for us to utilize it. And the only one at the end of the day that you could blame for not having anything work out is yourself. You can't blame anybody else. So you have to take 100% responsibility for what it is that you are wanting to do and how you are wanting to get out there and promote. And sometimes maybe you do have to take a part-time job in order to create this over on the side, right? So that is paying into this and helping you to create that. And go to Lexi, and Lexi's going to show you how to budget it all out. Lexi the budgeter, Peppy Lou the budgeter, or the fairy budgets. Fairy budgets. I got fairies coming in for you, Lexi, now. So all the fairies are going to come on in. You know, it's creating it, it's doing that, it's being and having your due diligence. And with the Aquarius energy, it's not a sit down energy. It's not an energy to go and hide. It's not an energy to go outwards. It's an energy of coming inwards. It's a masculine energy. It's air. It's masculine. Air energy's masculine. Water energy's feminine. So we're coming into that masculine energy of, yeah, I got to provide, I got to create, I got to do this, right? And bring it in. And having rulers like Saturn and Neptune, or Uranus, I should say, whew, it's going to make this a crazy ride. A crazy ride. Because I think it's in 2025, does Uranus go into Gemini? And oh, that's just a whole nother kettle of fucking fish. Uh, got Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be coming up and meeting with Neptune as well. So that is like, wow, that's a burst of energy, of creativity, of having something within this mundane structure, this world, right? And bringing in that mundane structure. And you will see the world is going to be going to hell in a handbasket. Not going to lie. Y'all know that. Y'all see that, right? So it's like, what am I going to create within all of this crazy chaos that's happening? This is where, if you're looking at making money, this is a fine time to actually make money and do things, because people are searching and people are wanting to know, wanting some kind of direction, some kind of help in in doing their life, in uh bringing in a foundation, in creating a spiritual path, so that they feel that they have a connection not only with that of the divine on earth, but the divine above and the divine within, and connecting the three in one, and coming into that three in one, and coming into that beautiful connection. And when we can come into that connection, that beautiful three in one connection, as above, so below, and in between, whew, there's power there. There's power. We step into that power. We step into that. And this is where it's like, we're not going to push hard. We're just going to go at this gentle flow. We're just going to move with it and allow and surrender to our God, our guide, our moon man, or whoever it is that you want to surrender to. And I'm going to have faith that I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. And when I can't, I'm going to give it up to the Holy Spirit and ask for inner peace and a miracle. And I might have to do that 1,000,001 times a day, because that's what's going to carry me through the crazy chaos and the disruptions that are going to be happening in our world. And then we're not going to be freaking out over all kinds of crazy shit. Right? Just saying. Just saying. So, I don't want to dig them all out. We are going to just pull out the tarot cards. Might go get a new tarot deck, maybe. No, I'll get one afterwards. Now, I'm going to Brooks this weekend. I've been invited to do a house party, so I'll be doing readings in Brooks at this house party. And that's the other thing. If you want me to come to your local neck of the woods for the day and do readings, definitely. I'll come out your way and just feed me and pay me. Get a couple girls together. I'm doing 1 hour readings when I'm there for people, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's the other thing, is like stepping out where you haven't stepped out before and saying yes. So oh Jesus, sorry, I get oh, I'm on a lot of because it's just who I am, and I'm a Scorpio, and I love to find out the fucking information of what's going on in the world. I just got a message from, who did I get a message? Well, from, I won't say their name, but wow. So, yeah, so crazy chaos. Things are happening, and things are going to be happening fast, and especially as we go up to this new moon. And then we also have the eclipses that are coming in too. So the eclipses are going to be totally wild, like crazy wild. There's people are already warning about taking their kids out of school. There all kinds of warnings are coming out because where it's coming in, and they're realizing that, as I've told people, X marks the spot where it's going to be landing in Texas, and all of the craziness that's going to happen at that time. And I believe there's a comet coming in at that time. Now, people have named the comet already, or it's been named. The different astrologers that I follow, and who, especially Gemini Brett, they have to see the tail of it. They have to understand the tail and what the tail is, if it's split and everything, because it all has different meanings to it. But when you have an eclipse and a comet coming in ancient times, that was a bad omen. So as I say, omens are going to be coming in, and omens can be good or they can be bad, right? So an omen is coming in to give you information. What is that information coming forth? So there is information that is coming in for us, and for us to pay attention. And I think it's great that people are paying attention to the eclipse that's going to be happening in April. I think it's April 8th. Like they're being aware. It's like, holy shit, this is big. This energy is like 501 years old. Well, I had the one, but over 500 years old. Like the energies and some of the alignments that are coming in. And so we are going through unusual times. We are going through extreme energies that's forcing us to say, hey, I can't do this. I can't do this on my own. I have to reach out and ask for help, as above, so below. So, and do that. That's so important, right? And if you tell me that, oh, there's 20 other people doing a video on that and blah, blah, blah. When I go on TikTok, do you know how many lives? I see all these people, because you got to have over 1,000 subscribers in order to do a live, that are doing lives. And some of them I watch, and I'm just like, they're really not that good. Honestly, I'm just like, "Holy shit." But they have because people are so wanting, right? And some of them are just like, I don't like, it's just they're not good, and others are really good. Some of them on there are really good, and they know what the hell they're talking about. So, don't get lost. Don't get lost. I mean, there's things that are out there that are gonna try and pull you in many different ways, and they're gonna pull your emotional self. They're gonna pull you emotional and say, "Look over here, do it this way, do that." But you really have to come into discernment, especially when the 7 of cups comes up, and taking that time, right? Um, oh, shift that day scared of my is you scared for my parents. Why are you scared for your parents? Scared for my parents, though. It is. I mean, where it's lining up, and I think part of the some of the cities that have biblical something references and stuff like that. It's understanding that eclipse cuts things out. So you're not going to make any big decisions and stuff that go on there, right? And when X marks the spot, it's like, yeah, something's going to be happening there. There's a huge expo during a spiritual expo happening at that time, not far away from where the eclipse is, going to cross over. And I feel like, yeah, this is like an opening. This is like in 20, I think it was in 2017 when the eclipse went across America, right? So when it went and it went from one end to another end, it hit certain cities, right? And if you look at some of those cities today and where it hit, from Portland to I think Seattle and then all the way over to New York and stuff, different things that have erupted during that time, in since 2017 and where it is now. I mean, especially, well, New York, Portland is quite bad. So same with Seattle. Um, but even with New York's having huge issues. They just called out the National Guard. Over 1,000 troops, I think it is, of the National Guard being called to New York subways. And so there's armed guards, national guards, as you go on the subways in New York right now. They're called out today, this morning, or yesterday. So, but that's the thing. That's the energy. It's this change. It's this energy of transformation that's coming forth. That's going to bring forth a transformation. And how we are reading the omens, like what are you getting? Like, don't fall for shit. Don't fall for what's being on the news. Everything is on. Okay, yeah, the Pope went to the hospital. Yeah, okay, the King's going to come out and do something now, and we haven't seen Kate. Like, whatever. And oh, look it over here and look it over there. There are things that are unraveling that. It's like, okay, I don't. I got to keep myself grounded, and I got to keep myself connected. And that's very important. Nothing's gonna I mean, first of all, they're already in Texas. That's all I gotta say. You're in Texas. There's shit that's going on in Texas right now, especially all along the border. They have sectioned off one area of the border, but th- there is just a lot of craziness that's going on right now, um, in Texas. Your parents are gonna be fine. But it's also understanding is that you also have to be aware of everything that's going on and the surroundings that is happening. I would not want to be down in Texas when the election happens. Just see, the thing is, it doesn't happen now. You got to think what's going to happen within the next 6 months. So from April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months from now, October. What's happening in October? Well, that's near the end of the election. So you got to think between now and the election time, what is going to be unfolding in this area. And in the same, as I said, shit's hitting the fan for Trudeau. Look at all the shit that's coming out on Trudeau and the crazy election that he called. And all the everything coming up about him and China and the connection with him and China, right? So there are these things that are unraveling. What does that mean for it? And then him and Turban Boy are trying to create something to do with voting and how the voting is supposed to, but they don't want the conservatives in. So things, because looking at Trudeau's chart, there's a lot that's going to come in and hit him. Will he be held accountable? He's got this narrow slit there, and it ain't his ass, but this narrow slit of like almost being unscathed, but will be tainted in many ways. So he's going to be tainted in many ways. So the unraveling is there. The unraveling's there. And you got to know that there's going to be a fight. So you have the higher ground. You have the higher ground because you have your connection. You have your groundedness. Going with your passion and knowing that I am sticking to what I know is to be true and staying to my higher ground. That's so important. Staying to my higher ground and not getting lost in the illusions of going over here and going over there. So this is very important that you don't. And coming into that connection with love. The lover card. So coming into that connection of love, loving not only myself, but others around there. Having that discernment when it comes to that love. Right? It's not just willy-nilly, oh, I love you because you look really good on that horse and I know you can take that axe and chop that wood. And man, you know what videos I'm talking about, girls. But this is coming in with a love of truth, a love of knowledge, a love of connection, and staying within my passion and not getting lost in the delusions of it all, and staying the course. And that's the big one. And staying the course could be very, very difficult. Cynthia knows which ones I'm talking about because I send them to everybody. It's like, oh, or the guy who jumps rope. I mean, that's not what this lover card is all about. It's the guy who does jump rope and teaches you how to jump rope in a whole new way. And you're like, oh, I could never do that. But we can't get lost in the delusions of him jumping rope or that beautiful man riding the black horse or the guy who jumps. I don't mind them at all. It's fine. It's fine to look. It's not to get lost in it, into that craziness, into that unrealistic world of saying, oh, well, now I'm in love with him and I'm going to change my whole world because I'm in love with him. You need to send me those. And to stay and stand within the passion and know that, yeah, I might have to tell people I got to fend it all off and say, you know what, I can't do this all, but I'm going to stand. I have the positioning. I have the upper hand. Others may not like it. I don't see them. I know they're there. And I'm fending it off because I'm going to stand in my discernment. I'm going to stand in the love and the passion that I know is true. And that's so important in doing that. Yes. So it is. Watch your anxiety today. Watch the anger. Neptune is conjunct with Mars, with Mercury, and Mars is squaring off to Uranus, and Mars wants to get things done and do things in a hurry, and Uranus is like, I don't know if I like that direction you're going in, and he's older and slower and not going to move as fast as Mars wants to. And Mercury, it wants to like get all the information, and it's like wanting to go on that retreat weekend and just like, yes, I'm going to get it all and I'm going to be it all and get all this information. And Neptune is saying, no, that's not how it works. It's going to take you some time to digest it all. It's going to take some time for you to receive the knowledge that you need and to experience it and work with it. And that's so important to do that first. You can't just go out and then blurt it all over people and throw up on them and say, this is the way you do it. Blah, blah, blah. So don't push too hard. And you can't do it on your own. Okay, it's in a time frame, and you just got to allow it. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to digest right now. So if you're wanting to book a reading, definitely get a hold of me at thegubermama@gmail.com. Also, if you are wanting a new moon reading, they're $40. Let me know, and I will put you on the list. They'll be coming out on Sunday and Monday. So on that note, May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be and all you do. Thank you so much for being a part of my community and being a part of my day. And let's go off and enjoy the sunshine. Bye bye, everybody.